It all began with a distress call from the flamboyant Madame Zorina, the ringmaster of the great Galliano circus. Her voice trembled as she described the recent string of disappearances. "One by one, my performers are vanishing without a trace," she said. "The only clue left behind is the haunting laughter of a ghostly clown." Intrigued and eager to uncover the truth, the gang drove toward the circus, its colorful tents contrasting sharply against the gray, stormy sky. As they arrived, the sounds of laughter and music felt hollow, like an echo of better days. The tension was palpable, setting the stage for a mystery that promised danger and deception. The gang met Madame Zorina in her elaborately decorated caravan, its walls lined with golden trinkets and faded photographs of the circus's glory days. Zorina, a striking woman with a commanding presence, recounted the events. "It started 2 weeks ago," she began. "First, my strongest man disappeared. Then, the trapeze artist. And just last night, my star tightrope walker vanished mid-performance." Velma scribbled notes while Fred asked about security. "The grounds are always guarded," Zorina replied. "But this phantom seems to appear and disappear at will." Shaggy and Scooby's eyes widened at the mention of a ghostly clown. To get closer to the action, Fred devised a plan. Scooby and Shaggy would join the circus as new performers, blending in while the rest of the gang investigated. Reluctant but outvoted, the duo donned mismatched costumes, Scooby as a clown and Shaggy as his bumbling assistant. Their act drew chuckles from the sparse crowd, but backstage, the atmosphere was anything but lighthearted. Daphne, assisting Madame Zorina, noticed tension between her and her business partner, Lorenzo Galliano. "They've been arguing since the disappearances started," Daphne observed, her intuition telling her there was more to their rivalry than met the eye. As the night deepened, Velma discovered a hidden ledger in Zorina's office, detailing unexplained expenses and payments to unknown parties. "This doesn't add up," she muttered, piecing together clues. Meanwhile, Shaggy and Scooby stumbled upon a locked storage tent, filled with broken mirrors, faded props, and an old clown costume eerily similar to the description of the phantom. Their curiosity turned to panic when they heard the faint sound of laughter and saw a shadow move across the tent's entrance. "Zoinks! Let's get out of here!" Shaggy exclaimed, dragging Scooby into the night. The gang regrouped to share their findings. Fred connected the dots between the ledger and Lorenzo's suspicious behavior, while Velma theorized that the phantom was more than just a ghost. "This might be someone's elaborate scheme to shut down the circus or scare away competitors," she suggested. Daphne mentioned overhearing Zorina and Lorenzo argue about debts and rivalries, adding another layer to the mystery. Before they could finalize their plan, the haunting laughter echoed again, this time louder and closer. "Stay together," Fred instructed, as the gang prepared to confront the mysterious phantom lurking in the shadows. The gang regrouped to share their findings. Fred connected the dots between the ledger and Lorenzo's suspicious behavior, while Velma theorized that the phantom was more than just a ghost. "This might be someone's elaborate scheme to shut down the circus or scare away competitors," she suggested. Daphne mentioned overhearing Zorina and Lorenzo argue about debts and rivalries, adding another layer to the mystery. Before they could finalize their plan, the haunting laughter echoed again, this time louder and closer. "Stay together," Fred instructed, as the gang prepared to confront the mysterious phantom lurking in the shadows. Peering through the slats, they saw Lorenzo Galliano pacing furiously, muttering to himself. "She's going to ruin everything," he hissed, his voice laced with frustration. Daphne exchanged a knowing look with Fred. "He's definitely hiding something," she whispered. Velma, ever the skeptic, added, "Let's follow him and see where he goes." The gang crept through the shadows, careful to remain undetected as Lorenzo made his way to a locked storage room. Producing a key, he entered quickly, leaving the gang to puzzle over what lay behind the door. Scooby and Shaggy, attempting to steady their nerves, found themselves drawn to the aroma of popcorn wafting from a nearby stand. "Just one snack break," Shaggy reasoned, grabbing a handful of the buttery treat. But their respite was short-lived when the phantom's eerie laughter returned, this time accompanied by a chilling breeze that sent shivers down their spines. "Ruro," Scooby whimpered, pointing toward a figure emerging from the darkness. The phantom's exaggerated grin and glowing eyes made Shaggy drop his popcorn as they both bolted for safety, their screams echoing through the circus grounds. The commotion led the rest of the gang straight to the scene. Fred quickly took charge, instructing Velma and Daphne to secure the area while he pursued the fleeing phantom. Daphne found Shaggy and Scooby hiding behind a carousel, their fear evident. "It's him, the ghostly clown," Shaggy stammered. Velma examined the tracks left behind, noticing they weren't typical footprints, but rather impressions resembling wheels. "This phantom is using a wheeled contraption," she concluded. "It explains how they move so silently and quickly." Fred returned, frustrated but undeterred. "They gave me the slip, but I found this," he said, holding up a fragment of fabric caught on a nearby tent. It matched the old clown costume Shaggy and Scooby had discovered earlier. Whoever this is, they're using the costume to play into the legend of the phantom clown, Velma deduced. And Lorenzo's behavior suggests he's either involved or knows more than he's letting on. The gang regrouped, their determination renewed. "We'll stake out the storage room tonight," Fred decided. "If Lorenzo's hiding something, we'll find it." As the clock struck midnight, the circus grounds fell eerily silent. The gang gathered near the locked storage room Lorenzo had entered earlier. Fred led the operation, ensuring each member knew their role. "Velma, you and Daphne will monitor the perimeter. Shaggy and Scooby, stay with me inside the tent. If the phantom shows up, we'll corner them," he instructed. Shaggy gulped, glancing nervously at Scooby. "Why do we always end up in the spooky spots?" he muttered. The group dispersed, their flashlights cutting through the dense shadows. Inside the storage room, Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby discovered a trove of old circus props and costumes. Velma's earlier theory about the phantom's disguise seemed more plausible than ever. "Look at this," Fred whispered, holding up a partially torn poster featuring a clown identical to the phantom's description. "This was Galliano's star act years ago," he added. Scooby sniffed the air, his ears perking up. "Raggy, I smell something funny," he said, leading them to a concealed hatch beneath a pile of crates. Fred opened it carefully, revealing a hidden tunnel. "This might be how the phantom moves around unnoticed," he deduced. Meanwhile, Velma and Daphne kept watch outside. Daphne's flashlight beam caught something glinting near the big top. She knelt to examine it, discovering a small, ornate key. "This must belong to one of the performers," she speculated, showing it to Velma. "Or Lorenzo," Velma replied, her mind racing. "Let's see if it fits any of the locks in this area." As they tested nearby doors, a low, menacing laugh echoed through the tents. The two froze, their hearts pounding. "It's close," Daphne whispered, gripping her flashlight tightly. Back inside the storage room, Fred led Shaggy and Scooby into the tunnel, their footsteps echoing softly in the narrow passage. "Stay close," Fred urged, his eyes scanning the darkened corridor. Shaggy held Scooby tightly, whispering, "If we see anything, let's run first and ask questions later." The tunnel opened into a larger chamber filled with makeshift equipment and mirrors. "This is some kind of control room," Fred observed, pointing to a monitor displaying live feeds of the circus. "The phantom's been watching us," he realized, piecing together the elaborate setup. Suddenly, the laughter grew louder and the gang's flashlights flickered. The phantom emerged from the shadows, its glowing eyes and twisted grin more menacing than ever. "You shouldn't have come here," it hissed, lunging toward them. Fred acted quickly, using a flashlight beam to disorient the figure. "It's a projection," Velma's voice echoed as she and Daphne burst into the room. "The real culprit must be nearby." As the gang searched the chamber, Velma spotted a hidden door behind a mirror. "This is it," she said, her determination unwavering. "We're about to unmask the truth."
Creeping through the haunted halls, footsteps echo, shadows crawl. Scooby's trembling knees are weak, but a Scooby snack will do the trick. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Roo-Row, where are you? Monsters, ghosts, and clues to pursue. Zoinks and Jinkies, what will we do? Stick with the gang, we'll pull it through.